Speaking of toxic relationships, speaking of speaking on the terms, man, we've been at this for a minute right here on the Firm Podcast talking about relationships. Lately, we've been talking a lot about relationships. You know what I'm saying? About different things that affect them. What's toxic? What's not? What's healthy? What's good? But today we're gonna talk about something a little different. Today we're gonna talk about the conversation, the elephant in the room, the conversation most people don't want to have because they're uncomfortable having it because of the people in the room. But we're gonna have that conversation right here on the Fire Podcast. Fellowship in a Righteous Manner is what it's all about. I'm still on recovery. I went out with some friends last night, and all of a sudden, be careful whose desserts you try. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, son.
Might have some extra ingredients in it. Anyway, that's another story for another time. Tonight, we talking about cheaters. You know what I'm saying? It's a big show. Everybody knows a cheater, or maybe you've been one. And everybody can relate to a cheater story. But sometimes, in despising and hating someone for something that they did to you, you can almost be, what's the right word, Ulysses? You can almost be blind to the fact of why you got cheated on in the first place. And you know what? Bro, I'm saying too much, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to give the people some time to get in on this conversation tonight, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good. Hope y'all feeling great. Ulysses, you feeling good?
We in there.
I heard what he said. We in here. Please follow the show, whether you're on Instagram or on Facebook. See where we go in 2024. You know what I'm saying? Follow this page. Make sure that you hit that like button. Tell somebody so the algorithm can throw us in a conversation because somebody got something to say about us, about the topic, about life. And we want to hear all about it. You know what I'm saying? So make sure whether on Facebook or on YouTube, on Facebook at the Firm 365 24/7. And on YouTube at the Firm 365. Hit that notification bell and subscribe so that you can hear us. What you about to say? You about to say something? You about to ask something?
Well,
you over there eating, drinking, and prepping for the show. But appreciate everybody for all the comments, man. We be getting off the show lately, and the comments have been going crazy. Y'all got a lot to say about that we got a lot to say about. And so that's why we always make room for this fellowship. Ulysses, man, how you feeling, bro? How you doing over there?
What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all so much for joining us on this beautiful Sunday evening. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope y'all had a great weekend. My weekend was good. My weekend ended great. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited about the work week and everything that entails with it. But man, I'm doing good, man. I've been thinking about this show all day. I've been thinking about this show all day, man, and really just like, telling different people like, y'all gonna be talking about cheaters, a cheater's reasons, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, and with a twist. Y'all gonna
questioning you.
Say again?
I said they've been questioning you.
Yeah. But it's gonna be. I'm super excited about tonight's topic, man. But I'm doing good, bro. Doing great. It's a beautiful day in Pensacola, Florida, man. And I hope wherever you as the viewers, wherever y'all listening from, watching this show, hope y'all having a good night as well. But Flav, my brother, how are you doing today, man? How's life treating you?
I'm alive, bro. I'm alive. You know what I'm saying? I survived this weekend.
Okay.
You know what I mean? As I alluded to, hung out with some friends. You know what I mean? This past weekend, man, and something you start. Sometimes you start one way, and then you just be like, yeah, sure. And then the night at the end, you be just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened with those details. You know what I'm saying, for the public. Shout out to the brothers. You know what I'm saying, that I got the chance to kick it with, and just bringing me into their world. And we all got different lifestyles, but we got so much in common. And learning from them, is important. So sometimes your peer group, your peers, is kind of who you need to be listening to as well when it comes to that round table of wisdom and advice. You know what I mean? And it was good to sit at the table and break bread with some brothers that I knew back in high school. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure the story that they have to tell might be different than the story that I will share. But whatever they tell you, hey, I had a good time. And and I came out firm. You feel me? I came out strong. But everybody hit me up to check on me today, you know what I mean? See how I was doing. This weekend has been, I'm not really looking forward to the work week like yourself, in particular, because they changed some stuff. Anytime they do system updates and change things at your job, it almost feels like starting over, and your expertise ain't worth what it might have been. So, that's what I'm going into for the work week. But I'm always excited about it, always excited about embracing something new, and always encouraging my team, you know what I'm saying, my fellow coworkers, that whatever we are presented with, somebody at the top believe this would give us an advantage. So even though it's uncomfortable to embrace something new, sometimes what's new, when it's calculated, when it's in consideration of progressive outcome, you got to kind of take it with the best possible, positivity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Positivity. I know some people who don't like change, but hey, it's time to change some things. And with that, we're going to change some people's perspectives about some things today. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our conversations start with the idea that you can point the finger to somebody. And the truth is, a lot of times we end up having to look ourselves in the mirror. And that's the tough part, but it's also the part that keeps people in cycles of something.
Okay.
Because they're addressing one thing and somehow getting the same result. And then they address that thing head on again, and the next time they get the same result. And most of us know by now, doing something over and over, expecting the same results, is a little bit crazy.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And we want to submit here from the F.I.R.M podcast, that maybe there's an aspect that is not being changed, that's causing you to run into the same thing and look the same sometimes to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into this conversation tonight. Cheaters' reasons. Have you ever thought about a cheater's reasons? Why did they cheat on you? Why did you cheat? Doesn't matter. I know you tell us how you feel about being a victim of being cheated on, but if you ever really considered why cheaters cheat, if you haven't, you will tonight. So with that being said, welcome everybody to the F.I.R.M Pressure Podcast.
What up, world? It's the F.I.R.M.
Let's get it. Welcome to the F.I.R.M.
Oh, it's about to go down.
Set your schedule for 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Saturday nights live for a time that's one of a kind.
Woo-wee. There's nothing off the table, no trolling. We go from politics to religion to relationships to whether or not you like crunchy or soft tacos.
Woo! Forget about a love language. What about your love level?
Oh man, we excited for this one.
On all social media platforms.
So make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Fellowship in a righteous manner. That's the banner.
With your hosts, Flavius and Ulysses. We roll at
6 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
What up, what up, what up, world? Welcome to the F.I.R.M podcast. Appreciate everybody for joining us tonight for this live conversation. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Go ahead and send your comments in.
Yes, yes. Darlene says tramposa or trespass or infidelity is a very serious topic. There is no excuse to do it. And all of that is wonderful, 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 and true. And right before we get into the conversation, make sure y'all hit the heart button. Make sure y'all share this content with your peoples. Let them know that we are live and we are diving into a very serious topic of conversation. So, Flav, bro,
Man,
this one's gonna be hot and heavy, man.
you know what I'm saying?
Because you know, I mean, we've all been in relationships in some form or fashion, and a lot of people have been devastated and hurt
By cheating?
by somebody who's cheated. You know,
what's the real problem with cheating? Because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's easy. I want to take away all the easy arguments, which is marriage. So we're not going to talk about cheating in marriage, even though it happens. And some of the things that we're talking about are going to touch on that area as well. So I'm not saying marriage won't come up, but we're just talking about cheating in general. A lot of y'all be getting cheated on in boyfriend and girlfriend relationships. Sometimes, a lot of times, it don't even get to the marriage type situation. You know what I'm saying? Because of what's going on prior to all the red flags that pop up. But like, what's wrong with cheating? What's the worst part about cheating? Would y'all say in the comments section? You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to throw that in there, like, what's the worst part to you?
what is the worst part in the comment section? Y'all let us know. What when it comes to cheating, what is the worst? Is it the trust factor? Is it, you know, you gave yourself to somebody, you invested, you know, years in a relationship or months in a relationship, but you are in love?
Is it the lies? You know what I'm saying? Is it all the lies that you caught along the way, and how many was told to cover up the truth? You know what I'm saying? What part really has the sting when it comes to cheating? You listen, what would you say?
I think I think a large part of it is trust. You know, I mean, you know, we all know that in relationships, trust is like, if there is no trust in a relationship, there is no relationship. You know, so when you're dealing with trust, you know, and I remember my mom yelling at me one time when I was 17 years old because I went to a homecoming dance, and she was like, "Ulises, you can go, but you can't dance." And I danced anyway, right? And got busted for it because my sister done snitched. But I remember her saying, "Ulises, trust is a very thin line." Is what she said. Trust is a thin line, and you broke it. You know, and so there is a whole lot of good evening, brother Dale. There is a truth to the fact that trust may not necessarily be a thin line, but it is a situation where once you break trust, it can easily destroy.
Okay. Let's take that point while somebody else might put another one in the comment section. But let me just jump on that point. Trust being a thin line, you know what I mean? And if you break it, there's consequences, you know what I'm saying, or results of that. Do you think the ultimate loss of trust? You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming everybody feels you. What you say? What the chat say?
That the relationship is very serious, something very serious. There's no excuse for cheating. So
trust. So here's my question to everybody that's been cheated on. Somebody broke the trust with you. Why are you just trusting anybody that you're attracted to? Or like, are you actually giving your trust to somebody that's trustworthy? And if you know that a person that you're trying to build trust with in a relationship isn't doing anything or hasn't given you any reason to believe that they are trustworthy, then why is it just on the cheater when the trust gets broken? You should have never trusted me in the first place. I gave you nothing, no evidence, no reason to make you believe I was trustworthy. So when you say that the trust is broken, what does that mean to me?
I mean, but when you go into a relationship, I mean, you are, in a
Okay.
situation where you are basically telling that person, I love you. You're telling that person you're amazing. You're telling that person. So is it almost like the assumption
Hmm.
is you should be trustworthy? Because especially in this day and age, when like the older you get, the more situations you run into in relationships where literally like 9 times out of 10 people you talk to, 9 times out of 10 people you talk to have been cheated on, right? And so when you're in a situation, it looks like Flavius froze, but when you're in a situation where you are trying to build that relationship, like what is it that you're really doing? You are in that place where your job is to trust. Your job is to trust. Your job is to get to this place where you are building that. So to say that there is, so basically it's like for me, it's almost very narcissistic or very prideful for somebody to say, well, I gave you no reasons not to trust me. I gave you no reasons not. So that's it's basically a cop out, right? It's basically like a huge excuse of, well, I mean, I never said that I wouldn't cheat on you. Like, hold up, under the premise of a relationship is that's almost like a given.
Mm.
It's almost like a given when where you're not, if you two talk and y'all gonna be exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
or now it's like basically you're saying it's just me and you now, me
Mm-hmm.
and you, and so that gives the assumption that I'm not doing nothing with nobody else. What say y'all
Some
in the comments?
lies.
Yeah. Um, Persida says when you go into it with good intentions and you see no red flags, why not trust them? That's a very good question.
Then why are we so disappointed though? When
Why
a
are we?
person when a person, how many times I've heard a person talk about the bad part of the relationship, and often that they say, I knew it. Here we go again. So it's like, to me, is one aspect is we're talking about what the cheater is doing, but we're not acknowledging the fact that some of us are enabling it. But because you don't stop the relationship. When the red flag comes up and you find out that a person has been lying and trying to gain your trust through lies, the relationship doesn't stop. It continues.
Right.
And then when it finally blows up in a person's face, often what they say at that point was all this stuff that they knew. And it's like, if you knew these things, like why didn't that knowledge help you come out of this better?
Dr. says in the chat, that trust and honesty should start from the beginning of the friendship. From the French. Now that is a very distinct word to use when it comes to relationships, because the idea and everybody talks about wanting to marry their best friend. I want to marry my best friend. I want to be with my best friend, and all of that is great. All of that is wonderful. But whether we realize it or not, we kind of skip the whole best friend process. We go straight into the lover of the relationship. The holding hands, the kiss, and the, God forbid, right? We're all grown adults. From the holding hands to the kissing to the love making. So the whole best friend process kind of gets skipped. And there's a belief that I can be your best friend and your lover all at the same time. And is that true? So what Tati said is absolutely true, because the trust and honesty should start from the beginning of the friendship. But a lot of people get excited about a relationship. Oh, girl, let me tell you about this guy that I went on a date with. Whoo, Jesus, he was fine. Bro, let me tell you about this girl that I met last night. Bruh, she looked good. And we get excited. We get super excited about these relationships to the point, bruh, that we forget the whole friendship part of it.
Mm.
Like we jump into this thing, and we jump into it maybe even faster than what we would like. And so that's kind of where the situation might, at least when it comes to the surface level, because y'all, there's different levels that we got to peel when it comes to a cheater's reasons. And listen, everybody's gonna say it. It's already been said in the chat. There's no excuse for it.
Yeah, I mean, we can say it all day long. You know what I'm saying? That there's no excuse for it, and that's the part that we know. That's the.
However,
people still getting cheated on, and the same people that are getting cheated on are going into new relationships with the bitterness from what happened to them from the last person. And what they're doing is saying, okay, well, this person cheated on you. How did you find out? Boom. Found out this way, this way, this way, this way. What did you do about it? I broke up with them. Well, why do you think they cheated on you? I don't know, because they stupid and they just a terrible person. And you get a simple answer to why. But those same people, you know where that bitterness is that remains with them after they've already dealt with the problem? You know where that bitterness is rooted in?
What's that?
It's rooted in a feeling that they cannot escape. It's a feeling that you cannot escape, that you cannot fathom or believe or want to even discuss, that you might have been inadequate in an area of your relationship. How many times have you met, and just as a man, how many times have you met a woman that will tell you what she not gonna do? Or women, how many times have you ran into a man that's telling you the first thing they tell you is what they not gonna deal with, what they not gonna do?
Yeah.
Some relationships you can't even really even start talking to a woman because she's such a specialist at identifying a cheater, as opposed to doing equal amount of work on what about you can change so that you don't get cheated on no more. This is what I was saying. This is how it came off. It might have came off as a joke, but it turned into a conversation. But it was like, there's a woman that's getting cheated on. I knew her in high school. Years later, 10 years later, she's in a whole different relationship that she's coming out from and that she's healing from and everything because she's been cheated on. 10 years from that, we're 20 years out of high school now. You know what I'm saying? And the last relationship they was with was ended and cheating was involved.
Mm.
And my question is, if you are such an expert at identifying cheaters and keeping it from being this whole scenario, this narrative being repeated, how is it that all these years later it's still happening? Do you love cheaters? Are you attracted to cheaters? And you just tricking us and telling us it's horrible, it's terrible, it's broke my heart, messed up my life, went through depression. But the truth is, you know, you love holding on to fire. You was that little kid that held on to the firecracker too long. I need to feel a little bit of danger or something.
Mm-hmm.
Either it's that or there's something that you're not acknowledging of why this keeps happening. And one thing that I want to throw in there as far as one of a cheater's reasons is sometimes a cheater cheats because of the inadequacy. There is something not being done.
Yeah.
And someone else is presenting themselves. They might be lying too, might be a cheater too, who knows? But they are presenting themselves as if they have this thing. Some men cheat just to go find peace. Because in the house where they're in a relationship at, the person they're in a relationship is making excuses for the toxicity behind closed doors. They believe that it's a part of the relationship. We got to have moments like this. We're going to have arguments sometimes. Like They done already made it up in their mind and to give the right away for what? How are you making room for something that we know could destroy us, but you're making room for it in the beginning? And then over years, a man gets tired of all the arguing. All he does is meet a woman that don't argue, don't fight, don't ever seems unbothered. You know, Amarion pop up on some of y'all women. Unbothered, you know what I'm saying? Too cool. Just looking like peace in the flesh. And a person would cheat for that. But if the person getting cheated on ignores this, then they could take this toxic thing that happens behind closed doors that they make room for, fighting, arguing, losing it, take it to the next relationship. And somebody who's maybe don't even have a reputation of cheating, cheats. And then they go on and say, I don't know, I just keep running into all these toxic cheating. When the truth is, there are certain things about us that we need to pay attention to break us out of these cycles.
That's good. No, it's true, man, because when you're dealing, because y'all, again, as we're saying earlier, we know there's no reason, there's no valid justification. We get it. But the topic of the conversation is
there's no justification. There is a reason.
Right. There you go. There. But the topic of the conversation is the reason.
Yeah.
So we get it. We get it, you guys. We understand where you're coming from. Now, here's an important piece, and FLAVIUS done brought up a very good point.
What did I say?
When you're in a relationship,
mm-hmm.
we always tend to, and he said in the beginning, we always tend to look at what the other person did.
Yeah.
You cheated on me. You broke the trust. You did X, Y, and Z. But we never take the time to look at what it is that I'm doing. You know, we can always be like, well, I was good to you. I was good to you. And they're telling you, why are we always fighting? Why do you always gotta throw below the belt shots?
That's your fault.
Because
you do it.
Because you make me. Because you do this. And so there's a whole lot of back and forth. And so the reasoning behind the infidelity, the reasoning behind the cheating in that person's mind, they've justified why they're out there finding somebody. And most of the time, most people don't go out there to find people to cheat on. It's presented to them.
Yeah.
It's presented to them because, and wrong or right, you know, the man or the woman starts confiding in the opposite sex. And then that person of opposite sex is like, well, I find you attractive and I would never treat you like that. It's presented. It's presented. And it's like you go home, you're dealing with the same stuff. You're having the same arguments. And you're even having conversations like, why can't we just chill? Why do you got to keep getting on me like this? Like, let me breathe. Like,
does it always have to go here? Like, we can't.
I'm driving home, dreading going to the house.
Mm.
I'm dreading it.
And then when the cheater cheats, not everybody is a cheater, so not everybody's going to understand this conversation. There's a lot of people who don't want to change their circumstances. They couldn't have these conversations unless we were forcing it on the public, as we are, putting it at the table to talk about. They would never talk about these things, but they still have a narrative. And I'm not talking to all y'all that have your lives together and you're stable and you ain't been cheated on, so you're speaking from your high horse. I'm talking about some of the friends and women that I run into, that I've known for years. They so past the last tears that the relationship in the past brought, and they crying new ones. But the circumstances are still the same. I care about this woman. I care about these men that are going through this. Yeah, I mean, at some point you want to be like, all right, let's think outside the box. You know who a cheater's reasons really matter to? The children of a relationship that got separated because of cheating. You know who a cheater's reasons matter to? A doctor or a psychologist when someone who is habitually doing this goes out to seek help. You have to get to the root of the reasons. And a lot of times, most of us would have better outcomes in the future. But what a lot of people do is they go through this stuff and they're so used to presenting them, especially Christians, they're so used to presenting themselves as superheroes that don't go through common things. Even though the Bible says that our Lord and Savior is a just judge because of that he experienced life like us.
Right.
It helped him understand reasons. So the fact that a person just says, okay, I'm going to go off and I'm going to get totally different results than what I just got on my own. But these reasons, these, I'm going to keep that out the table. I'm just going to completely ignore that. And then it happens again. That's what God wants for you. That's God's plan for your life, for you to just keep running into cheaters when you keep asking him for somebody good. It couldn't possibly be. God is too good for that. What happens is, even though most women, most men say they can recognize somebody who is a cheater, they still can't stop the cheating. There's only one way to stop cheating. Stop getting cheated on. There's really only one way. You want to know what it is?
What's that?
Adequacy. Adequacy.
Adequacy. Okay.
Adequacy. You know who's the man going home every night, even though he's walking past women trying to throw it at him? The man who knows he got a hot meal going home to. The man who's going home to an argument that has nothing to do with just being toxic. The argument is, get off the phone. You've been talking to everybody all day, and it's my time. That man ain't coming going. That man going home every day. The man that can get peace, that can participate in raising and rearing up his children. The man who is not lacking. And if apostles, let's just say apostles in the Bible, their very purpose is to add what is lacking. So a real leader should never be ignoring the thing that is lacking. But most of us, it's hard for us to say we're not enough. That's a hard statement that only few strong people in the world ever could admit and say, I wasn't enough. I wasn't enough. And you know what? When I was yelling and arguing and he kept telling me for months he didn't want to do this every day, I should have just not argued. I should have found another way. When, you know, the woman that's getting cheated on, or the man that's getting cheated on by a woman, because women do it. Y'all know the real truth. All right. Women do it and take it to the grave sometimes. You'll never know. They're hanging around all they homegirls that know what happened, but ain't nobody saying nothing. Quiet as church mouse, you know what I'm saying, about the facts, about what happened, what they went through, the last girls' night out rendezvous. You know what I'm saying? And this brother's at home trying to figure out what he's not doing right, but the truth is he make her feel unwanted in the house. He always got an attitude like anything she doing here make him uncomfortable. Always watching. What you over there doing, girl? What you up there doing? What's that doing? Leave that woman alone and let her have peace in her own home. Instead of her running to go find what she doesn't have at home with her in her relationship. But it's the inadequacy it's that part that makes us have to admit. And in order to be firm, in order to really be strong, in order to be solid, and stop repeating your story's narrative, knowing that God has a better plan and a better story for your life. Sometimes, what did church people say about almost everything except for when it comes to getting cheated on? Examine yourself.
No, that's good, because here and again, I've been blessed enough to be able to counsel people and the whole nine, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I counseled the husbands who were the ones that did the cheating, and being there with the husband and being there with the wife, and it's like basically everybody got their shovel and they're just digging each other's grave, right? Because that's you did this. Well, that's what I'm first to say. There's no justification. But the counselor, if you go to a professional therapist, church pastor, whatever, they're going to ask the person who did the cheating, why? What's going on in your mind? Why did you step out? And don't tell the spouse or other spouse. Just don't say a word. Let the man or woman speak. Let them have their say on the reason why. And they'll go down the list. Every single time they will go down a list that the other spouse does not want to hear. Because their mind is saying there is no excuse. You're horrible to me, but I didn't cheat on you. So they're quick to throw that. But they don't take the time to listen. It's one thing to hear, right? It's one thing to hear, but it's something totally different to actually listen. Because when the other person starts, when the person who did the cheating comes out and is like, well, you hear it a lot. She doesn't want to have sex. We can go months without having sex. For some people, somebody's offering just something as simple as sex. Well, I'm not saying simple as sex, but y'all know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're offering sex because the spouse doesn't want to have sex. Reason. You may not like that answer, but it's a reason in the mind of the person who's doing the cheating. Another popular answer.
And if you don't want a person with a high sex drive complaining that you ain't giving them a lot, that should be part of the beginning of the foundation of the relationship. Stop jumping straight into bed with everybody and then wondering why they a sex maniac.
Well, hold
and
on.
You ain't realized, you ain't even had the conversations.
but hey, but
now you done gave them some good loving, and
well,
they, you know what I'm saying, bro, they can't get enough, and you over there,
bro.
Not today.
But you know very well when you're dealing with something new, it's a super. I mean,
but hey, I mean, but it's true, but it's not an excuse. It's a reason, but it's not an excuse. Some people jumping into bed with freak, you know what I'm saying, with Rick James and them and super freaks, and you're not a super freak, and you need to quit making yourself available to people that are. Whoa. That could change your outcome in the next one. You get you somebody with it that just like to, you know, be a normal freak, not a super freak, and y'all be great. But if you don't examine the reason all to begin with, you'll think that happened because a person just is attracted to somebody that's prettier than you. That's your ego telling you that she was just prettier than me, or he just stupid or whatever. But the truth is, there was a lack of something. And most good relationships that end bad, they usually have some communication going on. Even in them counseling sessions, how many times did a woman say, I've told him this? Or a man say, I've told her this. We've talked about it. But nothing changed. How many times have you heard that? Or is the first time some of the stuff coming out is when they get in the counseling session with you? Don't most people, aren't they telling each other these things leading up to the counseling session?
They do.
All right.
They do. You know, and so that's that's like a major part of the conversation that needs to be had. You know, again, the disclaimer.
Mm-hmm. We ain't got to keep that. We ain't got to keep disclaiming. We just let's talk, bro.
But you know, there's no reasoning for it. But there's no justification for it. But here's the thing: how many times are you going to engage in the same conversation before it gets old? Whether it be sex, whether it be peace, whether it be arguing, whether it be, you know, you're not doing enough around the house. Because here's another answer that are another reasons why the spouse cheat.
Or a boyfriend. Because a lot of y'all got boyfriends and girlfriends. Everybody ain't getting married like that. So I know y'all want to hide behind the marriage and what is right or wrong, but a lot of y'all getting cheated on and losing relationships.
Facts. And so here's the thing. We come into the conversation and like the reason why is because all he does is disrespect me. Disrespect is one of the biggest issues in the relationship. And that is a conversation, you guys.
True, sir.
That the other person, another conversation that they don't want to hear. Because the moment they say he or she does not respect me, here comes the shovel again. Well, the reason why I don't respect you is because you're not man enough. You don't fix stuff around the house when I ask you to. You don't change that light bulb, or you don't cook like you're supposed to. You know, the dishes have been in the sink for 4 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a level of it's disrespect.
Yeah.
And yes, you're a good spouse. We get it. You know, you do what you can, you do great, but you disrespect. Your tongue is a little loose. You're quick to throw below the belt shots.
And they saying what they want to say is just people give themselves the right of way to do something that is causing a deficit in the relationship. And what most people do is take it personal, as you're saying, what you're trying to say, I'm not enough. And it is the same reaction from men to women when it comes to relationships and you try to tell somebody that they are not enough, that there is a deficit in a relationship because of an inadequacy in somebody. It's the reason why people be going on these healing journeys but never really heal all the way up. They're only addressing one side of the wound. They're not addressing the part that, you was out there doing cartwheels off of the rails or something. You was doing something wild, and now you're trying to fix something that started wild, make it something. You taking raw material. You going out there and what do? We do an interview in a day. The first 2 or 3 days of the relationship is interviews. 51 questions, 21 questions, all the way down to, a few unanswered questions, day 3. And some of us are, but proceed with caution. And then when things happen, we get so shocked at what happens to us. We get shocked at what a person can do, the betrayal, like you said, the breaking of the trust, the disrespect, the fact that what did they say? It's wrong. A terrible person. Only a terrible person would cheat. Al Gore ran the White House at one point as a vice president. Him and his wife ended up in their 80s or 60s or 70s or something getting a divorce after he done won the Nobel Peace Prize and everything. So that was a really good man. He cheated. I'm not saying justice for the cheater. No, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying pay attention to the reasons of cheaters. Now, you might avoid like the people, like the friends that I just mentioned, been going decades getting cheated on. What does that do to a person's psyche? You think that person is in the best possible condition for their children mentally? You think they trust anybody at this point? But a lot of times it's because they go to these circles, they get with their girls, get with their homeboys. Everybody runs off the identity of a cheater. We all say break, we walk away experts on cheaters. And we come back to the circle crying because we done got cheated on again. And somehow people are believing that God wants the best for them. And praying that God wants the best for them, that they're in church, corporate testimonies. It's going to be greater later. My latter end is going to be greater than my beginning. We're going harder and, I'm saying, I don't know, we're doing more in 2024. I don't know what they're saying. And then they run into a year, and at the December is coming. December 24, 2024 is coming. And some people are going to be reliving a narrative. Now, we're hoping here from the F.I.R.M podcast that the pressure of this conversation alone might make somebody think. He just told you that he counseled relationships and their reasons matter. There's a child that's going to grow up one day and be old enough to ask his dad, why did you feel the need to step outside on mom?
But you know, bro.
And listen, and you might be faithful to them. They might not be questioning you left them because you still been there. But why'd you cheat on mom? And most parents in their honest moment to their child, they always discuss the inadequacy. What wasn't? What they tried to get in that wouldn't be allowed in. The changes that they hoped the person would make. Like you said, you've been to counseling. You've been to see the pastors and the elders for counseling. You've been and got some counseling, from a doctor out there, with a doctorate or something. But you sought help from family members based off of their experience. You might have reached out to friends and loved ones, peers, mentors. A cheater can change. That's one thing that I have known. A cheater can go on and have a whole new narrative. They can work at it for a long time. And that terrible person y'all talking about is a great person 10, 15, 20 years later. The person that they with, if you told them how bad they used to be a cheater, they will be laughing like, not. Not old pushover Eddie over here, not old teddy bear Tony over here. You know what I'm saying? He would never step out. I don't. That's a different man you talking about. While that same person that has the narrative has gone on and experienced this again. We're trying to stop somebody's cycle that's really going through this. And sometimes people that haven't don't have the right answers. They don't have the right responses. But sometimes when you've dealt with cheating, when it's coming to your, to your doorstep inside your home and your relationship, a lot of times there's things that you may consider that others couldn't. And one of those things is the reasons do matter. As much as y'all don't want them to, they do.
Now, here's the twist that I was so lovingly couldn't wait to that I could not, for a second, just like, here's the twist, you guys. When you're dealing with the reasons, cheating, right? We're all thinking the cheating. Has anybody ever thought to consider that the disrespect that the one spouse or the one girlfriend, boyfriend is doing to the partner, let's just use partner, but that one partner is doing to the other, are you not cheating on them by disrespecting them? You broke their trust. They were vulnerable to you, and whatever you said, whatever you did, broke their trust. Did you cheat on them? This is the twist, because we have to talk about this.
Y'all know about that in-house cheating. You're looking at pictures, you're lusting after another woman, that's emotional cheating. What they be calling it? Spiritual adultery.
That's a whole other podcast.
Spiritual, but I'm just saying that's an example of cheating that happens within a relationship before it's over.
That's definitely one.
Is that disrespect?
That's definitely one for sure. And also the emotional cheating. I was vulnerable to you. I told you some certain things about my life, and then you done used that against me in the argument. You broke my trust. You cheated on me. But nobody wants to talk about that. Because we think cheating.
Let's talk about that.
We think cheating is all about you stepping out, you having sex with somebody else or an affair or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But there's been cheating going on in relationships way before an actual cheating, physical cheating took place. Because somebody doesn't know how to stay quiet.
And when this happens and you address it, man, I told you that's like something so like you knew what that is, and I trusted you with that, and now here we are in an argument. You talking about across my legs, and maybe that's because something happened to me back in the day, and this is what are you questioning who I am and what I am today, throwing things back in your face. At that moment, do you ask them why you keep doing this? Why did you do that? Is that important? Is that an important question when somebody does that to you?
Yeah.
Does it matter to you why they're throwing it back in your face or bringing it up and hurting your feelings with stuff that you entrusted them to?
And it should matter, because the same reason why you would ask your partner why you cheated, it's the same reason why they would ask you, why do you keep doing that? Like, do you know you're hurting me? Well, the reason why is because we have easy reasons to explain why we run the mouth. Well, it's because you. But then demand answers when it comes to when actual physical cheating. Well, it's because no, it's not because of me. You should have controlled yourself. You should have kept that in your pants. You should. Wait a minute now. You done hurt me by running your mouth. even though I asked you not to. You done broke my trust by using what I shared with you against me. But you don't consider that as you don't see that as a reason why the cheater would go and find somebody who will offer him what the partner can't. There's no reason. Yes, there is there's no justification.
There's no excuse, and that's the difference. People try to put an excuse as opposed to a reason. There's value in the reason. The excuse is trying to excuse the action, excuse the pain that you might feel, excuse the offense. But cheating is an act of dishonesty or unfairly, acting dishonest or unfair. That's what cheating is. A lot of people are dishonest. A lot of people treat you unfair. Your boss can treat you unfair. That may make them a bad boss, but that doesn't mean that they're going home and being a terrible person in their household to their family. So sometimes when you write off the individual, then you can kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. You throw out the things that you could learn from what you just went through. And if God allowed it to happen and he could have stopped it in his tracks, y'all could have been walking towards each other in some place and God just supernaturally made y'all go different directions. You know, I tell people this all the time. You'd understand relationships better if you understood that God keeps his hands out of them. Now, once he lets you choose. As much as y'all want him to just pop from down from heaven and just tap somebody on their head and be like, this is the one for you. He ain't doing it, man. That's why the angels got crazy and the sons of God got crazy and whoever else people be saying, wanted to go get a bunch of women. He could have easily stopped it.
Right.
But he lets us choose who our companions are going to be. And when you understand that, you realize you have to be careful about who you choose to let in your life. You can't keep taking a chance with every man hoping they won't be a cheater when you could almost ensure that they're not. Instead of jumping straight into bed day one or week one, what you should be doing is, God, reveal anything about this person that could harm me. Lord, just start creating situations where, the truth got to come out. Let them show me their hand. You know what I mean? Whatever's up their sleeve, Lord, expose it. I remember how you was with the children of Israel. You was looking all through the walls and the tents and showing the prophets what they was doing in secret. Let me see what they doing in secret. What's in the dark, come to the light, Lord. Bring out whatever they may be doing into the light. I'm interested, but you know what I've been through. And then watch God bring those things for your benefit. But most of us, the time we start bringing God into the counseling session on our relationship is when we feel like I wanted this person and they just cheated me out of what I wanted. I wanted companionship and you just cheated me out of my companionship with your out there chasing hoes and blah, blah, blah. Or I wanted this marriage and I wanted a relationship, but you just kept being dishonest. One day you tell me that you're going to change. 2 weeks later, you get upset and you back to the same old thing.
Right.
You're cheating me of the peace that I want in this house. You're cheating me of the success that I would like to have in front of my friends and family in a relationship. You're cheating me of a joy of having somebody I could retire with and somebody that's stable in my children's life. You're cheating me out of these opportunities with what you won't work on about yourself. And if you're a work in progress by nature, because God is grooming you and building you and pruning you and growing you up, then why is it only in relationships is the only area where you won't allow yourself to be pruned? It's because the reasons really don't matter. A lot of y'all in the comment section said it. It's true. To a lot of people, most people, the reasons don't matter. But somebody is still coming, knocking at our door, knocking at the door of prayer, saying, God, why do you keep letting me go through this? I'm starting to lose trust in you. I'm starting to question whether you really want what's good for me, because I'm giving you my life. I'm giving you my heart. And you keep giving me cheaters. And sometimes the same thing God is asking you to work on before you even get in the relationship is the thing that you needed to work on to keep the relationship.
That's facts. And that's facts, man. Because again, whenever you come to, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if you come to God correctly, he's gonna hear you out. Oh Lord, the man that you gave me, the man. And then what God's gonna do is turn that mirror right back to you. Because he is taking that situation. Sorry that it happened. Sorry that it happened to you. But he is taking that situation to show you how you can improve. Because if you're in a counseling session with your boo, and they tell the counselor what one of the reasons is because X, Y, and Z. More than likely, at that moment, y'all, whether y'all want to hear it or not, he's telling the truth. He is telling the truth. All she does, sir, ma'am, pastor, bishop, evangelist, whatever, all she does is nag. Nag. And y'all, what does the Bible say about wives who nag? The wisdom said, I would rather live in the corner of a rooftop than with a nagging wife.
The Bible address these things, man.
It's serious now. I mean, this is the Bible that you say you read. Well, my nagging shouldn't cause you to cheat. Well, it's causing people back in those days to want to leave the house and not come back.
It's right in the book, bro.
And not come back just for nagging, y'all.
Yeah.
Because again, you are taking away their peace. But you don't want to look at that. I don't want to see that for myself. Man, I know there's no reason for you to do what you did. It was better off for you just to break up with me than to go ahead and step out, whatever the case is. But man, like if I'm going to have a moment of honesty, is there anything that I could have done better so I can improve on myself? I'm not trying to justify you. I'm not saying I'm going to take you back.
Yeah. Ain't no reward for this revelation. I'm just gonna take it with me.
Right.
You carry on.
But
yeah.
Man, like if I'm the type that cannot control my tongue, then maybe that's something I can work on for the next relationship.
Yeah.
If I'm the type that all they want to do is fight and argue, then maybe I need to really think about operating in some level of patience so I don't get into meaningless arguments. What is it about your situation? Yes, your partner cheated. Or maybe you were the one that did the cheating. But at the end of the day,
man,
we have to really stop. I can blame so-and-so all day long. But what lesson about myself can I get out of this? Because what Flavius said early in the show is absolutely true. You're going to go into the next relationship dealing with the same problem. And all you're going to think about is, how come I'm attracting these type of losers? But you never address what it is that you are doing, because in your mind, what you are doing does not constitutes being cheated on.
And some cheaters know who they can cheat on and not cheat on. And what if what you're ignoring about yourself that you could change? Because the truth is, you can't work on a cheater. You can kick them out your house, kick them out your life, but you can't work on them. They're going to go on to do whatever they're going to do. The only one that you're left to work on is yourself. And the work that most of us are not doing on ourselves sometimes is what attracts cheaters to us in the first place. Oh, man, she think all dudes is good. Okay. Oh, man, I put on a little bit of cologne and, man, she think every man that smell good is a prize. Let me slide up in here with these other guys. Hey, I'm one of them. And you fall for that one because they making the approach so much easier for you. Sometimes we be in relationships just based off of people's how easy it is to approach them. Then you be like, but I've seen guys who was cheaters meet a girl and that woman be like, they know. Like, what happened, old girl? You was talking to for a while online and stuff. Man, I ain't got, man, she trying to be serious and, you know, she got her stuff together, whatever, man. I ain't ready for all that. You know what I mean? She been locked her brother down and changed his ways. And I ain't ready for all that. And it'd be something about this woman. And she might be wondering why this guy, we finally went on a date and he ain't never show back up. Because he knew you couldn't play with you. It was something already there that they knew. I can't play with this one. This woman too, you know what I'm saying?
She's on
I don't even know if I'm ready for a woman like this. She got her stuff together for real. And she could probably change my life, and I'm still out here trying to do my thing. Here's one thing that I say, man, when it comes to reasons, and I'll end my portion on this. I can understand why it's hard to trust God. I can really understand when you really read the Bible or you know, material, whether it's movies or whatever that's kind of loosely based on the Bible. When you talk about the Old Testament, you know what I'm saying, and you be seeing the things God be doing to people. You know what I mean? He really strict. The chances of you going through your life, getting it all the way right, making God happy, it can seem almost impossible. You know what I'm saying? Some people just like, yo, I ain't ready for that yet because I know I'm going to go in there and I'm going to want to be different, but I ain't different yet. Some people are apprehensive about God because they feel like they got to clean themselves up for him. And I get it. If anybody has read the Old Testament fully, completely, and not just the great parts, but just really read the stories, God was, you know, to show up totally different. I love y'all. He's like, wait a minute, man. In the past, you was slaughtering whole towns and things. You know what I'm saying? You was plaguing boys. You didn't care if it was the kids, the animals, the crops, the good ones, the bad ones. I mean, what if somebody had to be good in there? You was hard. I understand it. When you look at God's past presentation, it's totally different, almost contradictory to what he was willing to change about himself for what he really wanted. God's reasons for doing the things that he did in the Old Testament matter. That's why if you really study it and get past all the whoa, God, okay, you couldn't send a messenger, another one, before you did that. One time he sent the angel down here to slaughter the army. That was probably exercise for that angel. But either way, God always laid out his reasons for doing things that make him hard to be trustworthy. And so you find him in the New Testament when he's given a new government, a New Testament, sending his only begotten son in whom he loved. His son was a representation of this love. Turn the other cheek. I don't think that the last guy back in the day would have said no turn the other cheek. He'd have been like, slay them tonight, my child. But here's this new approach. And so he tells his reasons also. Because I love you, I'm not going to hurt you. Because I'm going after you. God was willing to change his own approach to win our hearts over. His children should be able to do the same thing. And whether you know it or not, most of you are capable of changing your approaches to get a more desired outcome. God didn't, after he got done trying to change the cheaters, because what did he say about Israel? You're adulterous. You're whoring after other gods, and you always want another king, and you're always going over here and watch these people because they'll slip in another religion on you, and you'll be going off serving gods and idols and stuff. And that was one of his main things. You cheaters. But when God stopped focusing on the cheater and started understanding the cheater's reasons, he came up with a whole new covenant. This covenant, ain't nobody getting stoned. In this covenant, the widows and the fatherless are more evidence that you have a pure religion than your every Sunday attendance. In this one, he giving you gifts of the Spirit, which help you deal with things you can't change: compassion, patience, temperance, love, hope. I think that there is more about us that can change the outcome of our experiences when we take the approach that the God we serve was willing to take. He didn't ignore the reasons. He called them all out, and when he couldn't change them, when their reasons wasn't good enough to expose them, God took a look at his son. The Bible says that he made him in his own image, that he was the image of the invisible God. So that's like looking in the mirror. And changed his presentation. And we love him to this day because of that. And most of us couldn't imagine the God that, some people in heaven going to be telling us they experienced. But God got nice. He must have got a little older or something. He sure got nice for y'all, because back in the day, even the priests talking crazy could get their voices taken for 9 months. You know what I'm saying? It was different strokes, but I just feel like writing off reasons is not really the answer. Understand? Acknowledging the reasons and changing our approach is what we've been shown to do. Try God's way and see how much firmer your relationships in the future will be.
Amen. And in my closing, glory to God. And in my closing, you guys, look, we Flavius and I knew all week that this was going to be a touchy subject. There's no way
around it.
There's no way around it. It was going to be because we've all been affected by it one way or the other. We've all been affected by it. So what I want to leave for you guys is this: continue to heal. Because if a conversation like this can get you hyped up, imagine what you have to talk about when it comes to a more personal approach with your next boo, or if you're with your husband, with your wife, if you're all married. If you're having troubles and issues with trusting because of what you dealt with in your past, why have you not talked to God about the healing process? If you are healed, then you can see it from the other perspective. You don't even have to agree with their reasoning, but at least you can understand. Hey, I'm gonna sit down with you, and I can sit down and I can hear you out, because I can tell you, it's so easy to look at the cheater and you. But as the twist came out, pointed out, what if you were the one that was cheating on your spouse before he physically cheated on your boyfriend,
Or
girlfriend?
he or she. I know we always like to make cheaters men, but women cheat too.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And so, what if your actions, your inability to trust, brought out disrespect? Like you sitting there and going behind him all the time to see if he's actually doing something, and then accusing him of something, is you actually doing the cheating.
Wondering why you don't want to come around your family when all you do is talk bad about him to your family. And when he come around your family, they looking at him crazy when they really should have no evidence to be responding this way. But you can't stop telling them bad stuff, all the mistakes, all the.
So,
but
are you doing the cheating? Just because you're not physically talking to somebody doesn't mean that you are not cheating on your partner. You're cheating on them emotionally. You're cheating on them mentally by doing what it is that you're doing. And that's the whole point of this whole conversation. Now, if you're perfect, this whole show just
wasn't one for you. This wasn't one for you, but it still was a great show. But
for a fact. But if you can have a moment of honesty right where you're sitting and be like, you know what? In my relationship, my partner should not have cheated on me. But yeah, I did say some stuff that was hurtful. I did take what they said, what they were vulnerable about, and I used it against them. And if you can admit that, whatever the situation is, if you can admit that and work on that, then we guarantee you on the Firm Pressure podcast that you will be the better for it. And your future partner, make sure that they're going to thank us in that situation. But outside of that, you guys, listen, man, we thank y'all so much for taking the time out on your Sunday evening to spend time with us. We know y'all got work tomorrow. We know there's so much things that's going on for the weekend. But, man, we can't thank you guys enough for the comment section. Y'all was on fire tonight.
Man.
Fire. And we appreciate it because here at the Firm Podcast, Fellowship in the Righteous Manner, listen, nothing is off the table, and we appreciate you guys being respectful in the conversation.
Yeah.
But make sure if y'all have not already, make sure y'all go to our Facebook page at the Firm 365 24/7. Make sure y'all follow us there, and on YouTube at the Firm 365. Make sure y'all subscribe to that channel, and y'all heart this thing, share this thing, and let the people know that we are here for the deep conversation. Flav, any last words before we let the people go?
Yes. This last word, after the conversation is done, is to you cheaters out there. Stop cheating on people. All right? I used to be a cheater. I was a cheater, and I was a preacher's kid. You know what I'm saying? So all the divine answers and spiritual protection and hedge of protection was all around my house. But I would leave out of that hedge of protection and I would go do the devil's work. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to relationships, not everything. But I was not a faithful guy. And I came here from Europe. And if anybody knows anything about Europe, that culture is a lot different. There's a lot more exposure from children on up. And so it's kind of a culture shock when you come over here. You come off really fast. That young man is fast. I had to get myself together. I had a grandfather who had 2 wives, 20 kids. A portion of them with my grandmother and a portion with his other wife. And there's a picture that's out there of my grandfather standing next to both of his wives. Sometimes it's the influence. Sometimes it is what you're made of, what you've experienced that other people don't know inside your own family. Cheaters, you will often hear about these being called like generational curses, things that are a disadvantage that follow you down your bloodline for some reason. I want you to know that you can be different, that you can change. I want you guys to know that even a person who left you because you cheated, it could be a time later, it could be years later, you never know what, but there's somebody out there right now falling in love all over again with a person that they cheated on and was no good for. And the reasons mattered. Sometimes the conversation about the reasons matter more to the cheater because they don't know. Sometimes they're not seeing it. They don't have the same perspective as a person that doesn't cheat. And you think this person sees it just like you see it, and they're just doing this. But it might be something in their family that you're not a real man in this family. If you need a wife, a girlfriend, you know how the mafia do it. Sometimes it's the influences of people in our lives that have made us. But noticing the results of cheating, after a while, if you're not just a terrible person and a cheater, you start getting dissatisfied with the results. You're like, no, I really wanted that one. Why did I do that? It was at one point, bro, where I just stopped saying that. I was like, I'm not telling nobody I love them because obviously I don't know the definition of the word. Because somebody who loves somebody wouldn't be doing this. But that was a journey that God took me on and changed me to the man that I am today. So when people say cheaters always once a cheater, always a cheater, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be experiencing the private success that I have in my life that Ulysses knows all about, my parents know all about, and the important friends and family in my real life know beyond the character on the show. I wouldn't be living this life. The whys mattered. I had to deal with why I was doing it. And what did I really want? The losses that some of you guys represent in a cheater's life. You are such a big loss. I'm talking about you are such a big loss that the rest of their life is changing because of what they experienced with you. You might have gotten cheated out of the relationship for the moment, but some of them are getting cheated by God out of this terrible personality that did you wrong. God is stealing it from them. Every experience they're getting caught with, everything come to, forget about anything in the dark. They only doing stuff in the light. Everything's showing up because of what they did to you. God is purging them of this thing. He don't want another one of y'all, his own children, his loved ones, his daughters or sons to ever experience one of his sons or one of his daughters like this. So talking about these things, they do matter for the people that really want to change. You may not know who those are, but I was one of them, and I changed to the glory of God. The man I was is not the man that I am, and I know that it's because of God not allowing me to run away from what I had done, putting it in my face year after year. This is what you did. You've been gone 2 years. This is what's going on. It's a hard life to be a cheater, and it's not worth it. Men or women, it's not worth it. You lose in the end. Let me tell you this. You lose in the end. You lose your sanity. You lose yourself. Sometimes you'll find yourself out there losing recognition of who you are. Like, who am I? Why am I doing this? Why? You can find yourself in God. I don't know any other way for a cheater to change, but I do know why you cheating is valid, but God can still change you. And so next time, instead of cheating, you'll have a conversation. Maybe he'll replace your what is that thing where people have that fight or flight? Mm-hmm. Instead of just fighting or flighting, maybe next time God will give you the words to say to help bring that situation closer together so neither one of you are leaving a relationship, betraying each other's trust, breaking each other's hearts. No, nobody wants to be that way forever. I couldn't. I didn't. I started breaking my own heart. God dang it, FLAVIUS. Older Flav was pissed off at younger Flav. Like, man, you ruining our life. God. And I just put my hope and my faith in God. I stopped finding a woman that could give me hope and being a better man. I stopped looking for a man that could restore my hope in what men could be. I started putting all my hope in God and believing and hoping that God can make me the best version of me, not just for me, but for others too. 2024, I'm seeing better, y'all. I'm seeing better. If anybody ever says, do you know a cheater that's ever changed? Make sure that you tell them to tune in to the Firm Pressure podcast. It might be some pressure here, but the authenticity, the honesty, and the conversations that are needed will happen here on this show. So I appreciate y'all for sticking around. We appreciate y'all for sticking around for such a touch. Everything y'all said, we knew. We knew it was coming.
We knew it was coming.
but if anybody watches the show long enough, you know that we're always going to end on something inspirational. We're always going to end on something that doesn't sound delusional. We are not on here saying cheaters are great. Otherwise, I would still be the same old me. And who knows if I would have a friend like this in my corner, knowing what I'm doing and creeping and crawling all through the nights. So y'all stop that and get right. That's what being a fellowshipping in a righteous manner really means. You'll never be the firm child of God God intended for you to be until your fellowship is right. Your fellowship with your kids, your fellowship with your friends and family, your fellowship with your community, your fellowship with your co-workers, your fellowship with God, and your fellowship in relationships, which is a wonderful fellowship. But we want y'all to have success. We want y'all to see something different. And we love you too, Sally. We love all y'all. You know what I'm saying? So Ulysses, man, unless you got something else, man. Woo!
Listen, again, thank you guys so much for joining us for this beautiful, amazing, much-needed topic of conversation. We hope that it brought some insight and understanding, you know, and that it left you guys with a hope, that God is still in the life-changing business. He is here to continue to change our minds, change our hearts, and really get us to this place of exactly what it is that He has called you to be. And that is the child of God that He has ordained for you to be. That the testimonies that you guys have in your hearts from the heartbreak is going to help people to know how to navigate through a situation where you've been cheated on, but you're also going to help people to change what they're doing. Listen, stop talking crazy to your spouse. Stop saying below the belt shots to your partner. Stop it. Respect them. Love them, even when they're not lovable. You're not called to love them if they love you back. You're called to love them until it's time to walk away. Stop it. Stop making excuses for your inadequacies. It's easy. It's easy.
Woo! All right, y'all got Ulysses worked up. We got to get off of here, Ulysses. You know what I'm saying? We trying to leave him on a hot note. You over here about to grill him.
I grilled him, y'all.
Listen, y'all, we love y'all. Stay firm. Take some of this stuff with you. Advise some others in your lives that God has made you. Part 2, please. This conversation got us sweating. I don't know if we're going to survive a second one. You know what I'm saying? But either way, we'll think about it.
No, we ain't thinking about it. We're doing it. It's a wrap.
If we can't think of nothing worse than this, then maybe. But I think I got some more stuff that y'all going to the pressure of 2024. It's on.
Part 2.
2024 is part 2. The whole year-long pressure. You're going to feel that way, and we hope you feel that way about any show that we do. This is Ulysses and Flavius at the Firm Pressure Podcast. We love y'all. Y'all are the best audience in the world. Appreciate you guys being here with us. We make each other better by fellowshipping publicly. We make the world better by fellowshipping not under a bushel, but out there as a light for the world to see.